Oh, hello. Oh, my hair is messed up. I've gotten this together in a very much a hurry today. Hang on a minute. Where's this bit? That's that bit. There we go. Don't have a mirror. I do actually. It's right behind my computer. Very foolish of me. Anyway, hello everybody. Welcome back to the VGTR Challenge Enunciation. There we go. I got it down in the end. My name is Tommy B. You already know that though. I'm just double checking that. I am definitely, yes, I am definitely, you can definitely hear me. I can have a look in the little mixer I've got down here and you can hear me just fine. My name is Tommy B. I will be taking you through all the action today as usual. Today we are going all the way over as I move my mic into the correct position because I'm really out of center of my shot for some reason. There we go, that's a little bit better. Let me make myself look a little bit taller. Oh, hello, how you doing? Today we're going all the way to Belgium, to the Ardennes Forest, and you know what that means? We're going to the beautiful Spa Francorchamps, one of the most legendary circuits in all of motorsport. I'm very, very excited for this race. I think it's going to be a good one. And also, I'm very excited because alongside me today, I am very pleased to say, as I just hop into the Discord, now that we do have a co-commentator today. You may remember him if you're a long-time viewer of the VGTR Challenge as the Season 1 VGTR Challenge champion. I know that he absolutely loves it when I introduce him as that. It is Tom Bartelds.
Hey.
Perfect. Welcome to the channel. You are obviously a bit of a Spa expert yourself. How much are you looking forward to this race?
I'm really looking forward to this race. It's the best track on earth, so let's have some fun racing.
I dare say there's quite a few people in the VGTR Challenge who would fight you on that, but I respect the opinion. Is there anybody from your past experience, obviously you know a few of the guys relatively well, is there anybody from your experience you're expecting to do a particularly good job in this race?
Yeah, Luke Mason has a good chance, but of course I'm hoping for a Ferrari to be on top.
We have another Ferrari, a fellow Ferrari enjoyer. I like to see that. Now, let me see if I can... Ooh, I almost joined as a driver instead of as an observer. That would have been awkward. Let me hop into the server and then we can switch over the view real quick. And I can show you all the action happening on track right about now. And I'll also... Hang on, I've got to screen share this to Discord as well so you can see what I'm seeing. There you go. Nice and easy. Right, let's get into the... I still haven't switched my scene over. Ooh, let's go to game capture. Hello, welcome Matas, welcome Jack, and welcome Gmop. Yo to you as well. Let's switch to one of our outboard cameras. Let's switch to broadcast mode. And hang on a minute, why is that the fucking racing lines on again? One moment, let's just very rapidly sort that out before we carry on. Need to go to options, I need to go to assist, I need to turn that off. Can you tell I was trying to learn the braking zones at Alton Park? And we need to go to find the VGTR Challenge server and we need to log in. There we go. Okay, right. What I'm going to do, as you are the resident Spa whisperer, really, in the VGTR Challenge. Let's choose a driver to ride on board with. You said Luke Mason would have a good shout this weekend. He is not here, but one driver who I think we can always guarantee will put in a pretty decent performance is Giancarlo Zacchetti? Giorgio Zacchetti. Jesus Christ, I think I made that mistake before. Actually, you know what? No, let's have some entertainment. I'm going to put you on board with Matas, and I want you to talk me through his lap as he goes through it and say what will need to be watched out for.
Of course. We're going over the starting line. It's a nice straight into turn 1. Land it on the brakes. Go down the gears. Turn into turn 1. Make sure you're nice and early on throttle on the long straight. All the way down the mountain, down the hill to Rouge. It's a bit of a weight actually, but you get a lot of speed. You turn in again. You hope the car sticks. He hits the inside curb and bounces all over it. He has a long straight, he needs to dodge your car actually. Yeah, make sure you have a lot of speed into Le Con, that's the next corner. Yeah, slam it on the brakes, hope the car rotates, hit the first curb, hit the second curb, wait a bit, turn in. He's not that wide actually. You can carry a bit more speed there. Yeah, he's back on the brakes. Wait for the car to rotate. The back end is a bit loose there. So he's a bit slow. Lost the time. No name corner, always fun. Plant it on exit, hope the car sticks, you don't run out of wide. And we go to one of the hardest corners on this track. Boom. Turn in, hope the rear sticks, and wait until you can go full throttle. Otherwise you run out wide early. Back on the brakes again. Don't hit the inside curb here, at least not in a Ferrari, otherwise you lose a bit of balance. Don't run out too wide, otherwise you go into the gravel. Take all the exit curve here, once again, lost rear end. Make sure you're nice and early on throttle here so you can take advantage all the way down the straight. You really need the speed, otherwise you're way too slow. As we go into Blanchard Mall, it's a full throttle corner. All you have to do is aim for the apex, hope it doesn't do anything weird, and down into the bus stop chicane. Pull on the brakes, get it rotated, it goes a bit deep, and he goes back into the pits.
Yes, let's have a look at Gibson instead. No doubt he'll be finishing the final corner, and that is what a high quality lap of Spa-Francorchamps looks like. If you imagine everything that Matas just did, except way cleaner. Anyway, let's do our little rundown of who we have for round number, whatever this is, round number 5 of the VGTR Challenge. I believe the stream title is incorrect once again. I believe it says round number 4, which is pretty funny. Hello, Emperor Pegasus in chat. I'm going to quickly correct the stream title to say round 5. There we go. Update. Perfect. Now let's have a look who we've got. Obviously, John Gibson returning once again. And Tom, feel free to interject with anything you want to say about any of the drivers. Be as mean as you want. You know, that's part of the fun of being on commentary. John Gibson had a pretty damn good result last time out. Deserves a lot of credit for his drive in the wet at Donington Park. Horrendous conditions. Really didn't look like a lot of fun, you'll remember, last time out. But John Gibson rose to the fore, got his best result of the season so far by a mile. And very, very well deserved. I believe he was P11 at the end of the day. I'm just going to quickly double check that to make sure I'm not underselling him in any way. But I believe, no, it's P10. There we go. It was top 10. First top 10 finish of the season for John Gibson. Behind him, obviously, Matas Sidekerskis, we just had a look at for quite a long time. Bit of a disaster for him in the last race. Had a game issue. Had some kind of crash occur just as he was coming out of the penultimate corner. Which sadly meant that what could have been a second place for him, his first main series podium in the VGTR Challenge, was stolen away from him in very, very cruel fashion. He had talked a lot about how much he loves Donington as a track, so kind of expected him to be quick, but the conditions are very, very difficult in the end. DNF for him means he's currently stuck in P16 in the championship. Not the strongest place he would have wanted to be, but he is a driver who belongs quite a long way above that, so expect good things from him today. Riconel Dauka returning once again in the number 1 Porsche 911. I always forget how nice this car actually looks. But he is also he's one of our very, very large host of Dutch drivers in the series. He is currently sat in P26 in the championship. Did not start at Donington Park. I think he was in the survey. He did partake in qualifying very, very briefly, but I think opted not to start in the end. Obviously, not particularly liking the conditions, I would imagine. Behind him, we have a car that we haven't seen before in terms of livery, at least. This is Roy Swalson, who, yeah, that looks very different. A lot easier to spot now. It was, I think, off the top of my head, I'm trying to work out where it was that Roy Swalson finished last time out. Instead, it was a consistent P16 for him. P16 in each of the last 2 races. Only a 5 position difference between his best and worst result this season. He's been putting, and I think he's at times looking pretty damn quick as well. I think he's improved since last season, has Roy Swalson, the number 46 BMW. Right, behind him, Joran, who makes all of our lovely livery packs, which I may have forgotten to install today. Sorry, Jordan. He's currently sat P14 in the championship. P15, it was his worst result of the season out at Donington, but P15 still not a bad result at all in very, very tricky conditions. His worst result since the first race of the season at Kyalami, at least. A good couple of races in the middle of the season for him, P10 and P12. Means he's currently sat in P14 overall in the championship. He's, I think he's made a good case for himself to challenge for more upper midfield positions in future. Definitely has been one of the upper midfield drivers so far this season. Behind him, Alex Kingston. Well, what was there really to say about Alex Kingston's race last time out at Donington? Starting in P2, only behind Luke Mason in the all-British front row. And then an absolute disaster from start to finish on turn 1, left him languishing way down the order. Ended up finishing P5, which is an impressive recovery given how horribly the race started. But it's a real question of what could have been for Alex Kingston, because he did look like one of the fastest drivers. Who knows what kind of, challenge he could have posed to Tommy Lydon and Artemi Ilin in the last race. But still, a good result for his championship hopes. 2 very, very strong results in his first 2 races of the season. He'll be hoping to continue that kind of pace today. Behind him, it's ORC time. The Online Racing Collective back once again. Our lovely trio of American drivers. The first one we're looking at today, Josh Buckwalter, P11 last time out at Donington Park, the higher placed of the 2 ORC drivers. And it's been a good season so far for Josh Buckwalter. P11 is his lowest finish. His other two counted were both top 10s, P4 and P9. So 86 points for him means he is actually level with both Alex Kingston and Martin Kuba for P7 in the championship at the moment. A very, very solid start to his campaign. We're able to close it out with 2 very, very strong races. And most importantly, beat his teammate, who we'll have a look at a little bit later as and when we find him. Behind him, the driver we saw spin off in the just on the exit of Radion on Matas's lap. Moxturks, I think, may have suffered a... Did he suffer a disconnect? He did suffer a disconnect. He was wedged in the pit wall at Donington very, very briefly, which was a bit bizarre to look at. Back once again. Hopefully he can make it to the end of the race this time, if his internet allows him. Which, easier said than done, let's just say that much. Behind Moxturks on track right now is Christopher Qualls, returning to the series once again. I believe he was here last time out, actually, at Donington. I think he was P18 overall. Previous best result in the series of 12th at Imola, I want to say. Was that race 2? I think it was. I think it was Imola, yes. Yes, he's got a few drivers ahead of him who he can catch with a good result today, and that's what we'll be hoping to do. Behind him, Peter Kramer is one of the simplest and nicest, I think, liveries on the grid. Always the case with Peter Kramer, to be honest. One of the always brings out the better looking cars in the series, and this year has been no exception. Been a bit of an unlucky year for him. Spun round through no fault of his own, even before the first braking zone at Kyalami, and not having a whole lot of luck. Getting caught up in an incident at Bathurst as well, and I think getting very briefly caught up in an incident at the start in Donington, and then also spinning of his own accord in Donington right at the very, very end. It's been a bit of a tricky season so far. P9 last time out was his best result. Currently he's on 65 points. He knows he can be higher. He'll be hoping to put himself back where he belongs, up with the front runners today. Behind him, also hoping to move up amongst the front runners, is a man who's already been there for a little bit this season. The man who produced what, quite frankly, is probably one of my favourite performances of the year in the first race of the season at Kyalami. Felix Payan, the second of our 3 ORC drivers, finished P9 at Kyalami after at one point running as high as P4, which I believe, at least as long as I've been casting, is the highest position he has ever hit in the VGTR Challenge. is the highest position in the VGTR Challenge that he's hit. Since then, a little bit trickier. P16 at Imola and P12 last time out at Donington. I mean, he's currently the lowest placed member of the ORC, but he'll be wanting to catch up to his teammates today, no doubt about that. We do seem to have a yellow flag somewhere around here. I'm not entirely sure what for, but anyway, behind him is one of the front runners for today, no doubt. I think whenever we have no Tommy Lydon today, that's the big announcement, I suppose. And in the absence of Tommy Lydon, there's a few drivers who are going to sort of rise to the fore. Luke Mason, if he's here, I hope he does turn up at some point. And when I click tab, I can see that he's not currently here. So I'm hoping he turns up. So I have to ask you why you're here, Tom. If Luke Mason doesn't turn up, who is it that you're going to be betting on for the victory today before we see qualifying?
I think we're going to see Zucchetti take the win.
That's not a bad shout. I think was one of the closest drivers to getting a win in Season 2. I think the only two non-David Michelin wins were Abe and... Oh, no, it was Abe... No, he did win. We won at Monza. It was Abe, Giorgio Zucchetti and Luke Mason, who won the 3 races, not won by David Michelin. My bet, personally, we'll get to in a bit. It's going to be the usual bet that I make whenever Tommy Lydon is not around, or the front runners aren't around in general. But Giorgio Zucchetti so far, again, tricky season, actually ran in the lead for a bit at Kyalami before being spun round at the end of lap 2. Best result so far was P3 at Bathurst. He's currently seeing P6 in the championship. He'll be hoping that with a good result today, he can put a little bit of pressure on the fight for P2. It's not... Artemian is 41 points ahead of him, which is a lot, but it's not insurmountable if Artemian does get caught up in some bad luck. And now we are coming to the end of our free practice session. We're going to 20 minutes of qualifying, and so I'm just going to chill out with the reading through everybody for a little bit, and just let all the cars get back to the pits. We can see.
And Artemian doesn't have a good track record on this track. Yeah, he spins or hits the wall often at this track, so let's see what he can do.
Oh, he's going to be doing his Matas impression today.
Probably. Yeah, I was driving together with him in the 6 hours and he managed to crash the car in Eau Rouge.
Oh, was that when you were winning the race? Or something?
Well, we had a chance, so yeah. Let's see what he can do. Let's hope he doesn't bin it.
I remember hearing about that because that was about
Green light, go, go, go.
that was about just as soon as I started here. Anyway, let's have a look at where's Matas. He'll be the first one out. No, he's not the first one out. We have a new first driver out. No, never mind. There goes Matas. Yep, I was right. It's always Matas first out. He's always eager to get going, isn't he? Right, continuing with our rapid grid rundown. Jeffrey Theriot returning to the series for the first time, actually, since all the way back in Kyalami, which is, not entirely sure to what extent the regulations allow it, but, he's not doing any harm. So Jeffrey Theriot, welcome back to the series. I think it's his first time to Kyalami, at least. I don't really remember seeing him since. He might have been there at Imola. I didn't cast Imola, but, yeah. Anyway, Jeffrey Theriot. In the number 65 Aston Martin, I'll be honest, no idea what to expect of him. Struggling to find his name. There we go. He was at Imola. There we go. P14 in Imola was his only finish of the season so far. So he'll be so hopefully he'll be hoping that he can be around the midfield, maybe upper midfield, if he can get a good qualifying perhaps and stay clean at the start. I'm curious to see what he can do behind him. John Gibson we've covered. Hey, look! It's my pick for the win today. Mohammed Irfan had all the pace to win in Donington. I think, Artemian drove a pretty much flawless race, if you ignore the bit where he may or may not have spun Tommy Lydon. We'll leave it up to the stewards to decide that, when we did, and they did. But I know what I saw. But Mohammed Irfan had a bit of a disastrous first lap as well, and made a little bit of a mistake on the chicanes. I went straight on, but his pace was phenomenal. He almost got fastest lap. Tommy Lydon beat him by about a tenth on the final lap of the race. And in the absence of Tommy Lydon, I don't think there's really a driver with more raw pace than Mohamed Irfan across a wide variety of tracks. Maybe someone's better at Spa, but I've never seen Mohamed Irfan be slow. And what's more, I think he's one of the best race drivers in the series. I think he always outperforms his qualifying wherever he ends up starting. So I'm expecting big things from Mohamed Irfan today. He'll also want big things because he's only 19 points actually behind Artemi Ilin in the race for P2 in the championship. So he'll be very much hoping, with his bad round at Bathurst now dropped, when he ended up retiring and finishing 24th. With that now dropped, he's got that little gap that is very, very much closable, and a win today would go some way towards closing it. He'd need a good, strong last couple of rounds. It's not going to be easy, but I think it's definitely possible. Now, Giorgio Zacchetti, we've had a look at. Artemi Ilin, as you said, as I've been saying, the runner-up in the championship at the moment, as you said, not the man with the best record around this circuit. We'll ride on board with him here and just have a little follow around. I'm actually going to, real quick, just turn down my game sound just a tad. Just to 8% instead of 10. Just tweak it a tad. Yeah, not a driver with the best record, it would seem. Not a driver who it seemed was looking forward to this race either. Not a Spa enjoyer, it would appear. But he'll need to pull out all the stops if he wants to have a hope of retaining his position at the moment. No time for a bad race. And he did show in Season 2, I think, that he does kind of know what he's doing sometimes around this circuit. He did pull off a lovely double overtake into Le Com in the Season 2 Spa race. So we're hoping more heroics like that, and who knows what he might accomplish. I should ask you as well, what kind of times should these drivers be aiming for in quali, would you reckon?
I think the top guys are going to be aiming at low 217s.
Low 217s, alright, that's what we low 217s are what they should be aiming for. I think
doable.
Where do you reckon you would be you'd be qualifying if you were on the grid right now?
Probably second, I would say.
Who is it that you're putting ahead of you? Is it Giorgio Zacchetti?
I would say so.
Fair enough. I respect the honesty. P2 is, often quite fun to start anyway. Gives you something to aim for. I always feel I've not had much experience in my racing career starting on pole position very often. I'm a horrendous qualifier in every form of motorsport, but I can't say I enjoyed it on the few occasions I did. Plus, you can take out the race leader, cause a little bit of drama. Martin Kuba behind a current, I think was until, I don't know what happened yesterday, the M2 Cup, but was after the first round now an M2 Cup championship leader. And he was the, of course, you'll have lots of memories of battling with Martin Kuba for the Season 1 title.
Of course.
What's the, I guess I can ask you, did you spend a lot of time wheel to wheel with Martin Kuba during that season?
Yeah, especially at Nürburgring. I was battling with him for the race win, and in the end, he won because there was a Porsche coming on track while I was... Yeah, I was in front of him, and I needed to slow down to avoid the Porsche, and he sadly could pass me with like 2 laps to go. That
is heartbreaking. What would you say are his strengths and weaknesses as a driver? Because he's one of the drivers who is I think most interestingly positioned in the championship. There's a lot of drivers sort of on the same points. I mentioned he's level with Josh Buckwalter and Alex Kingston, and he's got Andre Lloyd not far behind at all, as well as Justin Moffat. So what would you say are his strengths and weaknesses as a driver generally?
Well, he's quick. That's one thing.
That always helps.
Yeah, but I think sometimes he makes a few mistakes, and if he can manage to not make any mistakes, he will be quick today.
I'd say that's well. We always I feel like if nothing else, if he does make a mistake, I hope he makes it in a way that's going to be nice and impactful on the race and serve up something interesting for later. But hopefully for Martin Kubica's sake, he doesn't make any mistakes at all today. P5, P11 and P8 in the 3 races he has contested so far this season. It's not been a bad set of results. Another top 10 would put him in good stead for the rest of the year. No drop round for him is the only disadvantage because he missed the first race at Kyalami. Behind him is a man whose livery hasn't loaded for today because I didn't install the pack correctly. It's Leon Stablefield, in case you could not read the little label at the bottom of your screen. He's done a 2:19.6. 2:18.3 is the fastest lap so far by Alex Kingston, I can tell you. I assume maybe you've been following along on the sidebar. But yeah, so far nobody hitting the low 2:17s as the gauntlet was laid
A bit
down.
optimistic.
I think maybe they're just slower than you. That's maybe that's what it is.
Of course.
If there's a narcissistic explanation to it, always go for that one instead of the humble approach. That's no fun. Anyway, Leon Stablefield currently P4 in the championship. One of, I would probably say, 5 drivers competing for that P2 spot. I think the only dampener on his season was the P8 at Bathurst. Other than that, 2nd in Kyalami, 4th at Donington. It's been a solid season so far. If Leon Stablefield, let's say something happens to our top 3 at the moment, if the race starts like this with Leon Stablefield in 4th and something happens to one of the front runners, as often does in the VGTR Challenge, especially with Giorgio Zacchetti, because that man has the worst luck on the planet, I think there's a chance Leon Stablefield could come up with a very, very good result and lift himself a little bit close to contention. The problem is, of course, all the drivers he's racing against are the drivers he's competing against in the championship as well. It's going to be tricky for him, but hey, we'll see what happens. I can tell you that Leon Stablefield's livery is supposed to look exactly like John Gibson, so if you want it to load properly, just imagine that as he's driving around, okay? Behind them all is Josh Buckwalter, who we talked about already, and Jordan. And now we have, again, unbiased commentator time. One of the drivers who I absolutely cursed last time out spoke at length about how Andre Lloyd has this amazing knack for cutting through the chaos at the start and coming out completely unscathed and then just somehow going ridiculously quickly, incredibly consistently, with a pace that, I don't think you would expect if you saw his qualifying position some of the time. The man puts the hammer down in the most emphatic way, out of nowhere when he's in a good position. And then last race, it looked like it was going well, did make up a ton of positions at the start, and then cut back to him and he was in a wall. So apologies for that, Andre Lloyd. But hopefully this time it's going to be a better result. The winner of the intra-team battle in the online racing collective last year, so far a little bit behind Josh Buckwalter. There's 6 points in it, owing to that P14 finish in the end last time out at Donington. But 6th at Imola and 7th at Bathurst. Couldn't compete in Kyalami, of course, because of a computer failure of some kind. Andre Lloyd will be hoping that he can put up a good result today. Right now he's the slowest qualifier of the 3 ORC drivers. We'll just like to point out, Felix Pyant somehow has got himself to P6. Normally these 3 are completely inseparable, as you can see by the fact that Josh Buckwalter and Andre Lloyd are right next to each other in the standings. Felix Pyant has said, you know what, this race I'm moving up. I found some new guys to race with, alright? Up in P6, only 1.5 seconds off the pace of our pole sitter Alex Kingston at the moment. I assume it's Alex Kingston, right? Yeah, there we go. So, yeah, I'm interested to see how this battle plays out. Behind, that is a very colourful BMW, which must mean it is number 72, which is Leon Huang, a driver who has, I think, as I said before, has mostly been a backmarker so far, but I think did show some good promise in Bathurst, because he was another one of those drivers who picked his way through all the chaos, kept everything very, very clean, and came out in P10 at the end of the first lap, which would be, I think, the highest position he's ran in the VGTR Challenge. Gradually fell back in the end to finish P19. Did not race out at Donington. Good to see him back once again. 13 points at the moment means he is currently sitting in 30th in the championship. He'll be hoping for some kind of good result to lift himself up out of those little bottom tier. But you have to, I do admire the fact that he's still in the championship. Most of the drivers who had unlucky results have already dropped out of the series. So good to see him sticking with it. We do love to see that. Behind him, Bruno Schnell, another driver whose livery isn't loading properly because I didn't do my job. Only joined the series again, back at Bathurst. Is he another? Tell me, is he another driver all the way back from season 1? I think he's been here for a while.
Yeah, yes.
He has. I thought so. I remember I was sent a Word doc with the season 1 results and everything. I couldn't quite view it properly. I can never remember who was actually on it. There was a lot of names I didn't recognise as well. Yes, he's so far, Bruno Schnell, only finished 1 race. That was last time at Donington. Finished P17. A couple of incidents during the race in the tricky conditions, of course, as is pretty much inevitable when you're driving in the wet and a track that was as wet as Donington was, as Andre Lloyd spins off at the first corner and resets back to the pits. And Bruno Schnell decides that he doesn't want to even take the first corner. Well, there's Alex Kingston, who we've spoken about. He's now pulling up as well. Can somebody actually set a lap time? You know what? I think we've spoken about almost everybody. Who are we missing? Anthony Camacho, back once again. One of the 2 contenders for best livery of the season. With the lovely silver and very, very colourful get-up he's got going on the Honda NSX there. One of the 2 Honda enjoyers in the series. It's been a bit of a mixed season, one would say. 17th, 13th and 14th at the 3 races he's competed at. Didn't come to Donington, but back once again. I think that he's a driver who can put up a good fight when he is called upon. Currently P20 in the championship, has a good chance to catch drivers ahead such as Fabrizio Barbierato, Roy Swaleson and Tom Bartelds, who's currently sitting P17 in the championship on 40 points from just a single race. You made your 1 race count, I suppose, didn't you?
Yeah, absolutely. Did my best.
It was I can't remember off the top of my head like everything that happened in that race, but who are you fighting with for the most part during that one?
Leon Stablefield and Luke Mason.
Ah, right. So in fact, in which case, we haven't. I feel like Leon's an interesting one because we haven't seen him in a battle so much. It's I feel this season. He probably has been in some way. He's been running in very, very close proximity. Again, I know we're looking at Anthony Camacho or we're talking about somebody completely different, but I'll be honest, it would take me a lot of clicking to actually find Leon Staplefield. I can see where he is on track. I'm just not doing it. But anyway, yes, Leon Staplefield, a driver who I feel like we've seen in close proximity to a lot of drivers, but not often in too many battles. What was it like to battle against him? Because I do remember at the end of that race he sort of pulled away, but before that, were you able to, do you think he's a driver who's a solid defender or a scary attacker, or do you think he's a bit more of a passive type?
Well, he left a bit of a hole in his defense, so I could just easily pass him into the hairpin. But he's quick. He's really, really quick. So if you see him in your mirrors, you know it's coming.
It's sort of just like you watch him constantly close in and everything like that.
Yeah.
Oh, it's very sideways for Anthony Camacho there through. Oh, is that Blanchard Mall?
Yeah, it is.
Oh, look at me knowing corner names. I don't even have a track map today. I thought, it's Spa. I've driven this a lot in various different games. I'm just gonna wing it. And it seems to be going okay as Anthony Camacho comes across the line, goes into P16 with a 2:21.4. Behind him, Jan Hessman, the human wall of the VGTR Challenge. If there's one driver, Leon Staplefield may leave holes in his defence, but his countryman Jan Hessman does not. Quite frankly, one of the most remarkable defensive performances I've seen in the VGTR Challenge since I've been watching it, and back at Kyalami, where he held up a hell of a lot of drivers for a ridiculously long amount of time. I'm curious to see what he can do today. He's not been back to the series since Bathurst, so he's not been to the series since Bathurst. Had a little bit of an incident there. Got caught up in the lap 1 chaos. He'll be him for a little bit of better luck today. Andre Lloyd, we've spoken about, and George Zachetti. Is there anybody else? Justin Moffat's back again. Had a very, very good race out at Bathurst, so it's good to see him back. We've got Fabrizio Barbierato, our amateur split runner-up from last season, is back. And I believe that should be almost everyone. Jacob Bisson, who I'm going to cut away from because, again, I was at Brands Hatch first time I had a look at him. Every single time I cut to him, he spun off, so I don't want to risk anything. So right now we've got Mohammed Irfan out on track. Who have we got? Anyone about to start a lap so we can have a look at them? Who's number 16? Oh, that's Jacob Bisson. No, I'm not doing that. Let's run on board with your old title rival. Oh, I thought number 46 was Martin Cooper. Oops, he's number 420, isn't he? Let's run on board with somebody else. Let's run on board with... Where's George Zachetti? Let's run on board with George Zachetti. I'll put you in the onboard camera. I'm going to go get a drink real quick, and I'm just going to leave you to critique what he's doing and talk about his lap for the last bit while I quickly go and retrieve some water. One moment.
Sure. Yeah, so he's taking nice and wide onto the back straight. Make sure you get a nice run so you can take all of the speed. I have a feeling he's running a low downforce setup because he's pretty quick in this sector. He's doing the same pace as person in P1, Kingston. Throw it into Blanchard Mall. It sticks nicely. Driving to the bus stop chicane, hit the brakes. The car is nice and stable. He turns in. And he turns in again to go over the finish line in a moment. Looks nice and stable. The Bentley is almost always stable, so that's not a problem. And he goes into P1. He's going quickest in the second sector, so I think he's running pretty much some downforce. Because the second sector has a lot more corners than the rest of the track, so if you're running high downforce, you gain a lot of time there. He currently is like 1/10 quicker than the Ferrari behind him. So yeah, that's nice.
Oh, I'm back. Okay.
Yeah.
It seems like he's gone on pole on that lap. So I assume he did a good third sector then, right?
His third sector was okay, but not the quickest. His second sector was the quickest, so I think he's running high downforce.
Ah, well, let's have a look at him going through the second sector, and since we're here. I mean, it's been a while since I drove Spa in ACC, but I do agree that that car looks pretty well gripped to the track, through the hairpin into the corner with absolutely no name to talk about. Yeah.
Stable. That's one thing to say.
Yeah, no signs of much in the way of understeer as well. That may just be because he's controlling the speed absolutely perfectly on entry, but which is obviously something which a lowly driver such as myself is not able to do. However, it's nonetheless impressive performance. You can see this is absolutely starts to fall. What is it that he needs to improve on in his third sector, do you think? Or is it just the downforce setup impacting?
I think it's just the downforce. It looked really clean, so I don't think there's much time left. It's just the downforce working and giving him some extra drag. So the run up to turn 6 is going to be fun in the opening lap, and we're really going to see who has been running the extra downforce and who hasn't. So yeah, that's going to be fun.
Well, let's see what George Zachetti can do on his final lap of qualifying. Probably secured pole already. The only driver who can really challenge him, who you expect to challenge him, is Leon Staplefield. George Zachetti's going to try and lay down another marker though. 2:18.195 to beat. He's going to come across the line. Is it an improvement? You bet it is. 2:18.167. That's pretty ominous for the rest of the drivers because he's already a good 10th ahead. Decided to just eke out a little bit more of an advantage. Leon Staplefield is the last driver who might be able to challenge him. 7/10 he would need to improve by in his best lap. He's going to come across the line now. Is it an improvement? Is it enough to challenge? It's not. Which means Giorgio Zacchetti is on pole for race number 5 of the VGTR Challenge Season 3. Alex Kingston in second and Mohammed Irfan in third. Your Giorgio Zacchetti bet is looking pretty damn good right now, it has to be said. I still believe in Mohammed Irfan. I still have a lot of faith in my guy, but he's gonna. I feel like it's gonna be a good race down to the start. Leon Staplefield in P4 ahead of Peter Kramer's. And Matas Sidikerskis on row 3 as I'm going to cut to this camera so we can have a look at everybody. Artemi Ilin in P7, a lowly qualifying him today, a bit of a way behind his competitors for second in the championship, but of course he might have been expecting that behind him on row 4, Felix Pine, and row 5 is Martin Kuba and Justin Moffat. who's making his return to the series, and we'd love to see that. One of the surprise packages of the season. Didn't quite know what to expect from Justin Moffat. He turned up and was very, very rapid, so I'm curious to see what he can do from this position. Jeffrey Therry with a fantastic qualifying up in P11. Good place to be ahead of the human wall, Jan Hessman. Behind him, Royce Wilson, with I believe his best qualifying of the season in P13. Josh Buckwalter alongside his teammate Andre Lloyd. Of course, they are, like I said, completely inseparable most of the time. The ORC drivers, Felix Pine deciding to do his own thing today. Johan Momchalov rounds out row 8. Anthony Camacho and Bruno Schnell are next to each other on row number 9. And it's Leon Huang in 19th, John Gibson 20th, who seem to be complaining in the chat about being blocked during qualifying, so perhaps a little bit unlucky for him. Jacob Bisson in 21st, head of Moxux, Christopher Qualls, and last place today, I don't know if he actually set a qualifying time, is Fabrizio Barberato in the Porsche 911. Now, I'm going to hand things over to you very briefly because I've got some questions for the racing expert here. The start at Spa, what is it the drivers are going to need to be particularly aware of? It's obviously a track with a bit of a, not the longest run down the world, but a very down to turn 1 in the world, but a very, very tight turn 1, and then obviously can get quite crowded up the straight, up the hill. What is it the drivers are going to need to be particularly aware of?
Yeah, first of all, they need to make sure that they survive going up Eau Rouge and Radial, and then that they don't give any slipstream to the cars behind on the Camel Straight, because otherwise you might get a Sebastian Vettel moment.
Is that what we call it now?
I think we should.
He's even I like how even when he stopped spinning, you know, he's had a relatively clean. Also, I just want to point out we have two big Justin Moffat fans in chat. I love to see that, Justin Moffat fans. We only had one driver with a fan club last year, and that driver we're not allowed to talk about, or at least I don't like to talk about. Justin Moffat has a fan club, which is absolutely fantastic. So I've got a smile on my face. Shout out to all the Justin Moffat fans. But yeah, it's weird how it's a Sebastian Vettel moment. Even when he stopped spinning, he still cannot live down his Ferrari years, and quite rightly so. They were, you know. I spent 2 years as a Ferrari fan because I don't like Mercedes, and that was probably the worst 2 years of my existence as an F1 fan. Very happy that Red Bull are good again, not gonna lie. Anyway, is there any driver... There obviously, usually when we're looking out for drivers to move forwards a little bit at the start, the first name going through our minds is Abe Santemo. Of course, he is not racing this season. Is there any other driver from your experience racing against and watching these guys that you'd expect to be able to make up places quickly?
To be honest, I don't know. Everything can happen.
That's fair. It's usually
it's a race of survival.
Usually a chaotic start at Spa, so yeah, I think as you say, survival is paramount. And do you think there's going to be any particular advantage as to when to make the pit stops today, or do you think it's going to be entirely a matter of strategy? Because we normally see, you know, when everybody else pits, because we normally see the front runners leave it very, very late to pit. Is there anything that you think will be what do you think the drivers are going to be doing today? Do you think it's just a case of strategy, or do you think there's a better way to go about it?
I think it would just be the same as normal. Just whenever the front runners start to pit, the rest will follow.
That's fair, yeah. I think, and then probably we'll have the one guy in the lead not pitting until like 5 minutes left to go or something like that.
I doubt that will happen though.
It does take a little bit of the excitement out. We can normally get some. I feel like if they pit a little bit earlier, we can have some nice, you know, to the flag skirmishes at the end of the race. But you know, as it is, we've had the strategy has played into the hands of our front runners on occasion. But no, we're coming round now into the final sector of the formation lap. I guess the last question to ask. This is something which, when I was growing up, I always used to watch F1 with my dad, and then we started doing this in F1. Then we started doing it in my karting race as well, because I raced with some very, very stupid kids back in the day, and so from the run, here's my question to you: from the run from the line to Lecom, and including Lecom, how many drivers do you think are going to... There's, 24 drivers starting. How many of them do you think are going to find themselves off the track or facing the wrong direction?
I really hope there won't be too many of them. But I think we will see a few of them. So, like, 4 of them, I would say.
4 drivers. Okay, well, someone with particularly keen eyes in chat, do have a look out, see if you can count up. I'm going to go for 8, personally. I'm thinking... I have a feeling, we had instance last year at Spa. I just have this feeling that we're going to see some chaos today. I don't think it's going to come at turn 1. I think we have a few drivers spin off on the exit, but I think most of it is going to happen at Radion and going into Le Combe, possibly in the middle of Le Combe. But right now, enough talking about the start. It's time to actually watch the start. Alex Kingston getting a little bit hasty, getting far ahead of our race leader, Georgia Schetti, slowing things down. They're going to come across the start-finish line there. But of course, that's not where the race begins. We have to get round the first corner first, right? Yeah, we do.
I think both Ferraris will be on the back of Giorgio Sacchetti on the Camel Straight. So let's see what they can do.
Yeah, it's going to be an interesting one. You think Giorgio Sacchetti with the Bentley, it should be one of the strongest cars on this track, you'd imagine, because they're very, very good straight line speed, as Roy Swelson proved at Monza last year. But we are going to be just waiting for our stewards to whip out their green flags. And then we have one hell of a start on our hands. Look at the 24 cars we have racing today, coming down towards the line now. Hold your breath, ladies and gentlemen. It's race number 5 of the VGTR Challenge Season 3, and it's underway, and it's a good start for Alex Kingston. Immediately could look to get alongside Giorgio Sacchetti, but Giorgio Sacchetti shuts the door immediately. Drivers go back. Look at Leon Staplefield, already made up a position on Mohamed Irfan. Matas Sidekerski is coming through in P5 as well. It could be more positions drop behind for a number of drivers here. Leon Staplefield is the early mover and shaker. You're going to see Felix Pine and Artemi Ilin going at it as well at the back. It could have 3 wide further down the field. It's been a very, very clean start indeed. Giorgio Sacchetti didn't come under pressure from Alex Kingston now. He's going to try and go around the outside, I think, Alex Kingston, but no, Giorgio Sacchetti shuts the door. Mohamed Irfan trying to get the position back on Leon Staplefield, but Leon Staplefield holds out well. Look at Matas Sidekerski going around the outside. That's incredible. Matas Sidekerski is up into P4 if he can get this position done on Mohamed Irfan, but it's not going to happen. Peter Kramer is up into P6, I believe that is, ahead of Artemi Ilin. Felix Pine filling in P8, and it looks like it's been very, very clean. There are 2 drivers stranded at the back. Who is this? It is Joran Momchalov has been unlucky at the start, number 73 and number 72 as well, Leon Huang. Those are the only 2 drivers to have crashed, so I guess you win our prediction. You were slightly closer. But anyway, back to the front. We need to get on with the race. It's a good start for Giorgio Sacchetti, under a lot of pressure from Alex Kingston, but he's been able to hold on pretty well so far. It's not a big gap at all though, and Alex Kingston looking very, very quick. This is the middle sector. This is where Giorgio Sacchetti is absolutely shining so far this weekend. He's looked very, very quick through here, but he just cannot shake off the Brit and the number 77 Ferrari, as Joran Momchalov, I think, has gone off the track again, just coming out of Pouhon there. And now we have the Sector 3, which has caused so many problems in qualifying for Giorgio Sacchetti. He was not quick through here. We're going to run on board with Alex Kingston, see what he can do. Joran Momchalov has spun again. A horrible first lap for him. Hopefully he can recover to the best of his abilities. We'd love to see him fighting somewhere in the middle of the pack, or perhaps even who knows where he could end up. Who knows what can happen at Spa-Francorchamps. Anything can happen in the VGTR Challenge, and it usually does. We're going to see a number of drivers. Matas Sidekerski has gone very wide. Peter Kramer has gone wide. Artemi Ilin could get by both here. Oh, look at this. Peter Kramer has jumped across the curb, and now Jeffrey Theriot also almost being tipped round by Martin Kuba. We're going to see Jeffrey Theriot is coming out. I think they're in P10 overall at the end of this first lap. He's gone up a position, swap positions with his compatriot Justin Moffat, whose fan club will no doubt be disappointed to see him down in P11, but he's got an opportunity here, because look at these 2 going side by side. Not going to cut to the front right now because we have one hell of a race on our hands. Jeffrey Theriot is going to be right side by side with Martin Kuba, but a little bit of extra straight line speed, better gear change for the German means he moves up. And look, that's an accident for Felix Pine. He's gone straight across the track. He's hit Martin Kuba. It's a disaster. So drivers, Jan Hessman's gone off. There's been a complete pile-up. It's happened on lap 2. Bruno Schnell's involved. Jacob Bisson. Look at John Gibson come through. They're all getting involved. This is a disaster. Andre Lloyd's out as well, I think. Is that? Oh, it's a horrible, horrible accident. That is, and it's all Felix Pine that started it, you have to say. I hate to say it about the ORC boys. They're so clean most of the time. Felix Pine got a little bit out of shape going into Eau Rouge. And, well, he's paid the price there. He's taking out quite a few drivers with him. And yeah, that's a pretty horrible way to end.
Spa.
Yeah, it's the horrible way to end the opening sector of this race. But what do you make of the start then? Any thoughts so far?
It was surprisingly clean until that accident.
I was surprised only 2 crashes on lap 1. I thought, oh, we're going to have such a clean race today. But no, it's not going to be.
Sadly enough, no.
They did try it. I feel like that's one of those crashes that, you know, Felix Pine obviously is the man who the blame has to rest on his shoulders. He's the one that caused it. But obviously nothing happened deliberately from him. He just, you know, lost control. And just from then on, there was nothing anybody could do. But look at Giorgio Zacchetti here. Hang on a minute. I was going to do some nice recapping stuff, but I feel like I can't look away at the moment. There's too much going on.
Yeah, Kingston's in the slipstream, and he's going to try to make a move on the brakes. The Fry is good on the brakes. He's hanging on to the rear of the Bentley. The Bentley is defending the inside, and Kingston stays behind. He will try to come back at him after this corner, but he's not close enough to do anything. So all he can do is just hang behind, hope he can do something on the Camel Straight, but it looks like he's too far back.
2:19.7 is very, very solid pace for the opening stages of this race for Alex Kingston. No doubt heavy on fuel at the moment, at least relatively speaking. And so far, laying down a little bit of a gauntlet, definitely chasing down Giorgio Zacchetti at a rate of knots. Quick recap of where we are in the race so far. The big winner so far, I have to say, Leon Staplefeld moving up into P3. Fantastic stuff from him, but he's now under pressure from Mohamed Irfan. We actually have a fantastic pair of battles here. I'm actually going to cut away and have a look at this Irfan-Staplefeld battle with Mohamed Irfan going to the outside now. They're going to go side by side. Mohamed Irfan could go round the outside, and indeed he does. Mohamed Irfan takes P3, and in emphatic fashion. This is the kind of stuff that he does. Probably, I want to say, without Abe, Mohamed Irfan, the best overtaker in the VGTR Challenge. Does it with style every single time. And, well, just showing off what he can do, really, there. Moving up into P3. Leon Staplefeld was the big winner at the start in P3. Artemi Ilin also moving up quite a few places, and quite a few important places as well, into P5. Peter Kramer's P6 as well. Matas Sidikerskis, unlucky. Such a good start for him. It looked like he could take P3 at one point, but as it stood, he ended up in P7. A little bit of a mistake at the bus stop chicane cost him, but he's not a million miles away from this leading pack, so he won't be too unhappy, one would imagine, with his position right now. Justin Moffat, after all that chaos, he's actually managed to move up to P8. Shout out to all the Justin Moffat fans. No doubt you guys will be pretty happy. Oh, is that right, is this King Rhino? This might be another member of the Justin Moffat fan club. Good to see you all out here. That's pretty nice. I'm enjoying this. Anyway, let's just look back to the start while I continue my recap. Moxtux is probably the big winner in all this, because he started right at the back and all of a sudden he's in P11. And I didn't even see that happen. Jacob Bisson as well. Seems like it was all these drivers just outside the top 10 who were caught up in that crash. So Jacob Bisson and Leon Huang both profiting. Looks like we could have a lot of drivers who are either in the pit waiting to come back out, having lengthy repairs, or retiring from this race altogether.
Meanwhile, Artemi Ilin is looking at the scrap in front of him, trying or hoping for them to make a mistake so he can get closer.
I'm just going to wait for him to go past the pits now. I'll cut to Artemi Ilin.
Yeah. There's also a scrap going on behind them between Peter Kramer and Matas.
Oh, we just see oh, look at that. We have our first driver out of the pits. That's very sideways from Artemi Ilin there. He's, like you said, he's going to be waiting for this pack to have a little bit of a mistake.
Yeah, he's falling off the back of them though. So just not enough pace for Artemi Ilin at this point.
Good news for all of you ORC fans out there.
Moment. Oh. And Matas is looking at the inside, but he can't do anything yet.
Yeah, I think I'm actually going to look at this battle for a second. In fact, no, going to cut forwards, because look at this. Alex Kingston is actually even closer than usual to the back of Giorgio Zacchetti. I don't know where to look. You know what, let's go back to Matas. I believe in Matas. I believe he's going to make this happen at some point.
For and wide, Matas has a better exit though.
Is it hard?
Not close enough.
Is it hard to pass in turn? I assume Sector 2 is probably one of the, despite having as many corners as any sector in Spa, I probably imagine it's probably one of the hardest spaces to pass, right?
It would be, yes.
So I'd probably expect it. Do you think Matt will just be able to stick as close behind as possible, I was going to say, but that's not how you do it.
He's losing the rear. Oh, he's fallen off the back of Peter. So this is going to be hard for him. He needs to get back behind Peter, get in the slipstream, and then he can do something. But he has fallen back a lot.
Let's quickly cut back to the front. We'll just double check, make sure, see if there's any mistakes. Giorgio Zacchetti, normally, probably, you know, on pure pace, one of the very, very best we've ever had in the VGTR Challenge. A driver who is very, very unlucky as well. And on one or two occasions has made a couple of mistakes. Always a little bit wary when he's in the lead. Definitely a fierce competitor, but one that we have to look out for. Alex Kingston will be hoping that another one of those mistakes comes through, because right now it looks like he's actually having, given all the pace that Alex Kingston showed early on, he seems to be having quite a bit of trouble making the move on Giorgio Zacchetti.
He just doesn't have enough pace. That's the problem he has. He can hang behind him, but not get close enough to make an overtake.
Do you think, at what point do you think he'll be thinking about, do you think it's probably another like 20 minutes time before he even starts thinking about maybe using strategy to his advantage, or do you think it's already probably in the back of his mind?
It's probably already in the back of his mind, but he has to wait for the optimum time.
We do have some drivers obviously caught up in the incident who have already taken their pit stops. Fabrizio Barbierato, Joran Momslov, Bruno Schnell. Joran Momslov has just retired, but also Bruno Schnell and Andre Lloyd have all completed their mandatory pit stops and probably gotten a healthy dosage of repairs alongside them. Andre Lloyd once again caught up in an incident. Very, very unlucky. Seemed like this one looked pretty unavoidable, but very, very unlucky. I tell you what, we're gonna do some fan service here. No, not that kind. Keep your minds out the gutter. Hey, look, it's Justin Moffat. There you go, Justin Moffat fan club. Still sitting P8 in a battle with his in a battle for P8 with almost two of his countrymen. I think Jeffrey Theriot a little bit far back now, but in a battle with one of his countrymen in Josh Buckwalter, and we'll be hoping to see Matas go a little bit wide more often, because that has opened up an opportunity. He's only 2.5 seconds back. Matas definitely looking like the faster driver at this stage, but I think it's fair to say that Justin Moffat will be a big threat if Matas does fall too close to the clutches of the number 223 Audi. Right, that's the Justin Moffat report. We'll be back to him in a few minutes, don't you worry. But right now we've got a battle for the lead to focus on. Once again, Alex Kingston catching within half a second, but just not quite close enough. If you're right on board, you can see it's just blatantly too far back to even think of going for anything at this stage. As Fabrizio Barbierato, I tell you, has got off at Pouan. Very, very unfortunate start to the race for him. And we see Giorgio Zacchetti just getting a fantastic drive out of turn one. And, well, it's not good news for Alex Kingston, really. He does seem to be dropping back a little bit. He's a little bit further back than he was in the previous lap.
Yeah, he's too far back to get any slipstream. So, yeah. All he can do is try to get closer. But he has to make sure that he doesn't ruin his tires.
And of course, one would assume that if Giorgio Zacchetti is able to push Alex Kingston out of the slipstream, that he can then just, you know, put the hammer down and put quali times in till it's time to pit stop and build up a little bit of a gap.
Yeah, he is already doing 18.6s, so 3/10 of his qualifying pace, I think.
Absolutely, I think 5/10. It was 18.1 he did in the end.
Yeah, 5/10.
Obviously,
still not that far off with a full tank.
Yeah, it's not bad going. This, this means when I look at my own lap times, which I normally do on, 62 litres of fuel, I can no longer say, the 7 seconds is just fuel, I'm not actually that slow. Turns out I am, Giorgio Zacchetti. Showing that a full tank of fuel only slows down by about half a second, even around the longest track on the calendar, I believe. Oh, is Spa longer than Bathurst?
I do not know, actually.
I'm gonna look that up real quick. Hang on. We got a battle going on, so I can just I can take some time out to Google this. I do only have 10% of battery on my phone. That is a problem. So, you know, I hope I don't need to do too much. Spa-Francorchamps. Circuit to Spa. Circuit to Spa-Francorchamps is... Okay, so Spa is... Oh my god, where is this? 4.352 miles, a little over 7 kilometers.
Smokestocks get past Leon Wong into Nonian Corner.
Bathurst. Oh, I need to type in Mount Panorama Circuit, don't I? Mount Panorama. Is it more than 7 kilometers? It is 6.2 kilometers, just 3.8 miles. So Spa is the longest circuit on the calendar. Useless fact for you there, but you know, occupied some time, didn't it? Behind.
I want to have a look at the battle between Josh Buckwater and Justin Moffat.
Oh, we absolutely do, because look at this. Josh Buckwater could go for a move on his countryman here. He's going to dive up the inside into turn 1. He's gone a little bit deep. Justin Moffat could have a chance to attack here, but he's held it together very, very nicely. Still, might be suffering for speed down the straight compared to the Honda NSX. He's looks like Justin Moffat is ever so slightly faster, but it doesn't look like it's going to be enough to make that much of a difference. Justin Moffat fan club, I'm afraid your man might be dropping that position. And is that Alex Kingston going slowly? Hang on a minute, Alex Kingston's dropped a bunch of positions there. What's going on there? What? Alex Kingston has dropped a whole ton of positions, and I don't know what's going on with that. He seems to have gone back up to speed now, but I don't know what that's about. He's sat in P9 now, which means, well, hey, that's another position back up for Justin Moffat, I suppose.
He spun at Radion and touched the wall, so he probably has damage at the front.
Let's see if we can have a look. Yeah, a little bit of, couple scratches here and there. I don't know how much. If he does get some sort of minor front damage, how much in terms of time do you think that's going to be affecting his lap times? Do you think it's going to be a serious dampener for him until he stops?
Probably like 2/10.
Oof, yeah, that's pretty rough. Blimey. Well, hopefully Alex Kingston can mount some kind of recovery, as we see Leon Huang has gone off at Lecom in the midst of all of this.
This is drop Giorgio Zacati into P1, of course, still, with a nice gap to Mal and Irfan behind him. So he can just drive off into the distance, into the sunset.
Yeah, there
enjoy his own race.
Here is Mohammed Irfan. You can see, if you're right on board, you can just about see coming around in the corner of your screen the purple Bentley just going behind the tyre walls there of Giorgio Zacchetti. It is visible just up the straight. Mohammed Irfan has the goal in sight, but it's going to be quite a task to catch up. 2:19.2 for Mohammed Irfan is his fastest lap. 2:19.1 just then, but of course probably invalid if it hasn't shown up as his best. 7 seconds is the gap, so we'll be keeping our eye on that. Mohammed Irfan knows all about following a very, very fast driver and catching up to him. Did it to David Mitchell at Soldo in the last season of the VGTR Challenge. But yeah, I'm very curious to see how this plays out. I think there's still a hope for Mohammed Irfan here, but right now it is looking like at least our predictions are 1-2. You know, I feel like we made ourselves look like very, very knowledgeable people. I mean, you obviously are. And let's just cut back real quick because we have a fight going on here, I think. No, it's just Artemilin by himself. Well, that was very overly optimistic. I can tell you there was a fight going on because Matas Sidekerskis is now going slow. He had some kind of incident as well. It looks like Radion is catching a few people out today. Matas has become potentially the latest victim. I didn't quite catch what happened there. But he is going very, very slowly down to P9, which means, hey, good news. Another position for Justin Moffat. He's up in P7.
Matas also spun at Radion.
Ah.
But he didn't hit any wall, so probably only his tires are done for.
Yeah, it's, well, if he didn't hit any walls, then that's promising. He can begin a recovery drive. Matas does normally have some good overtakes in him, so that would be interesting. I'm curious to see what Alex Kingston can do in his recovery drive here as well, because he's a driver who I think should be expecting to get past Justin Moffat, Josh Buckwater, and Peter Kramer at the very, very least, I think.
Yeah, absolutely.
But at the same time, this damage could hold him up. Do you think this damage could hold him up in crucial places to overtake, or do you think it won't? Do you think it's just going to be a general lack of pace, but won't hurt the overtaking too much?
Couldn't hurt the overtaking too much because on a straight he's quick enough.
Understandable.
But yeah, this is the thing about Spa. You need to survive, and Matas and Alex Kingston both did the same mistake. The Ferrari is quick around here, but you need to survive.
Absolutely. This is. It looks like we are going to have a little bit of a chance for Alex Kingston on Justin Moffat coming up shortly. Probably not into the bus stop chicane as Anthony Camacho goes off at Lecom as well, as you can see on your minimap there if you've been paying attention. And now we're just going to see the Brit gradually catching up to the back of the pair of Americans ahead of him. It's we have another crash, number 65. Jeffrey Therriot has gone off, I think coming out of Blanchard Mall, I assume that was. He was, yellow flags were out for him well before the bus stop chicane. But we're hoping for a move happening here. We do have Felix Pyan at the back of all this, who's very, very unfortunate. He's down in P17, a lap down, and he hasn't even done his pit stop yet. So he's had a, you know, obviously had a rough start to the race, given how it started for him, but it just seems to be getting rougher and rougher as it goes on. So far, though, no moves happening. Alex Kingston not able to really get close enough to challenge Justin Moffat at all. The only problem is now he does seem to be quicker through the corners a little bit, and look right on the back of Justin Moffat here. The 223 Audi coming under a lot of pressure from Alex Kingston, but they're well positioned on track, holding it together well. And Alex Kingston now forced to back off once again. It's a frustrating time for one of our championship runner-up contenders. He's going to try and move up to the inside into Pouin. If he gets a move done here, it'll be something to talk about. Is he going to go for it? No, he thinks better of it. Very wise move indeed, hoping that maybe he can force Justin Moffat to take a little bit too much speed. But as it stands, Justin Moffat again well controlled and just carries on with his race.
As we see the first few regular pit stops with Matas and Harriet.
Yeah, one wonders, probably good times for them, you would say. Matas obviously, after his spin, might have some tyre issues, who knows, might not be enjoying it, and could certainly put himself with some nice clear air to get some good lap times in for the rest of the race. And Jeffrey Therriot as well had a little bit of an incident, I think, coming out of Blanchard Mall. We did see Anthony Camacho as well having an incident in the same place, and I think, I'm not sure where he has not retired, thankfully. I thought I'd lost him briefly. He's just come out of the first corner. Alex Kingston now going to dive to the inside on Justin Moffat. No, he's going to think better of it. Why is the camera over there? There we go. That's what we want. Still nothing happening. You can read all the labels on the back of the Audi, but it's a very, very good defensive performance so far from Justin Moffat, and Alex Kingston's going to be left frustrated by this, because look at the lap times. A few tenths you'd expect the damage to cause, but with the traffic as well, several seconds being taken out of potential race time for him here.
Slow exit of turn 1. But you need to stay close to him, get the slipstream, get past and come straight.
Yeah, you can see just just between gear shifts, he just seems to be getting closer and closer.
And now he's gonna pass him, pretty sure.
Oh, let's see what he does. Justin Moffat will try and fight this, no doubt. This is a valuable position.
Send it to the inside.
Alex Kingston,
Sure.
It looks like he's going to dive it. Is he going to be able to get through cleanly? Justin Moffat goes wide. He's going to try and hold it around the outside. Still has the inside line, but Alex Kingston just a little bit too quick on this occasion for Justin Moffat to deal with. And that's going to be a good pass for Alex Kingston. But he's still got the Audi on his inside to worry about, able to get the cover down nice and easy. Justin Moffat relegated back to P8 for the time being. I apologise, Justin Moffat fan club. For now, it will be P8. I can tell you, if we let's move forward a little bit, have a look just back at, I thought this was the Mohammed Irfan Leon Stablefield battle. No, it's John Gibson and Anthony Camacho not even racing for position. We can see now on the minimap just how far away George Getty. He's opened up another 7 tenths over the past few laps. I can also tell you that Matas, if you've been paying attention to chat, you'll realise that Matas started with weird pressures, had no traction, and has pitted early to correct them. So hopefully now, now we will have some more competitive racing from Matas, as we see Anthony Camacho being doing one of the hardest things in all of racing and being a very, very damn good back marker. Good situational awareness from him. I'm just going to go back to this battle in midfield because I don't really think there's much else going on. We've got Josh Buckwalter now having to hold off Alex Kingston. This recovery drive has given us a little bit of content to work with. Do you think the Mercedes will be any harder to get a pass than the Audi? All other things being equal?
He's already really close, so I think he's gonna get the run on him. Up the camel straight, and he's gonna get past pretty easily.
It's a pretty easy spot to overtake. Probably the easiest spot to overtake on the circuit into Le Com.
So make sure he's not too close in Eau Rouge though.
Could be very, very dangerous if he is. Let's see what Alex Kingston does here. It seems like he has a good distance, and if he can reel in the Mercedes as they come through Radion, this could be a very, very dangerous time for Josh Buckwalter. You can see the gap is closing, and now this could be dangerous. Alex Kingston going to move to the inside. Can Josh Buckwalter defend? He's got, you'd think, even less of a chance than Justin Moffat had. Alex Kingston well ahead even before the corner begins. That's going to be a nice and easy position for him. Back up into P6, and the recovery continues. 2.4 seconds to make up to Peter Kramer's Josh Buckwalter trying to hang on to the back of the Ferrari, hoping for a mistake perhaps and slide back past, but as it is, it's not going to happen. If he can get a little bit of slipstream, maybe he can get a bit of a gap back to Justin Moffat, but otherwise, it looks like Alex Kingston's just going to continue with this race as he was.
I think Kingston's gonna catch Peter in a few laps. He's 2 seconds lap quicker at this point.
Yeah, Peter Kramer's so far had a pretty quiet race, has to be said. Feels like he's been sort of by himself for the last few laps. So Alex Kingston is going to be very, very kind and give him something to do. Don't know how welcome it's going to be, but you can see the gaps there between them. Not a whole lot of ground for the number 77 Ferrari to make up. Up ahead of Peter Kramer's, of course, is Artemi Ilin. Also having a very, very quiet race. 10 seconds now the gap between Artemi and Leon Staplefield. Given where he qualified and given how, you know, he's not typically a driver with a great track record at Spa, do you think he'll be happy with P4 if it finishes the way it is right now?
Yeah, I think he would be.
Seems
just
like
a nice result. There's not too much battling going on, so there's not really a chance at this point he can make up any positions. So I think he should be happy.
Yeah, I think it's a good result, and it's going to put, you know, a fair bit of pressure on Mohammed Irfan to really step up in the final race, because I think, it would make him a little bit harder to catch. The more good results he has, obviously with the drop round system, the higher his points tally is going to be, but even more emphatically so than under. I know that's the case in every single race series, no matter the format. Obviously, you can do better if you have better results, but even more so with the drop round system, he can really make himself just harder and harder to catch, as Anthony Camacho once again always shout out good back marker driving, and he is doing that to perfection today. Sadly, he has to be a back marker all the way down in P7. We can have a look at the interval, maybe we can see he's quite a long way behind, only completed 7 laps so far.
I do think Artemi Ilin is gonna lose position to Kingston in the end.
Ooh.
Kingston is catching with around a second a lap to Artemi and Peter.
Blimey, that is some pretty ominous pace. Do you think it will be an easy pass? Of course, catching Artemi is one thing, but I imagine he's going to be a little bit harder to get past than either Justin Moffat or Josh Buckwalter.
I think it's gonna do it in the end, but it's gonna be a hard battle. That's one thing that I think is gonna happen.
If he does it quickly, sort of before we're almost at the halfway point of the race, but if he does it rapidly, do you think there's any hope in catching Leon Staplefield, or is that too much of an ask? Do you think his P4 is now the best Alex Kingston can do?
I think P4 is the best he can do, because Leon Staplefield is doing almost the same pace as he is doing.
Yeah, it's a bit of a gap to make up. There is Leon Staplefield, 2:20.1 last lap. Yep, that is definitely quick. Having a pretty good race so far, the number 666 McLaren. A little bit quiet, but as sort of was to be expected. Still got Mohammed Irfan well within his sights. I'm going to shut up for a second, let you listen to the McLaren just down the straight real quick, because it's a very nice noise. Yeah, I like McLaren noises. Through a Rouge and Radiant we go. Nice and
Kramer
control.
has gone into the pits.
As has Josh Buckwalter and Justin Moffat. So we'll actually cut back to them in a second and see if we can have a look at where everybody comes out and see Andre Lloyd seems to be in the pits as well. I don't know. I'm hoping that doesn't look like a retirement to me. It looks like he's got a green thing by his name. Maybe it is. I don't know. No, he's moving again. I think. Yes, he is. There we go. Andre Lloyd is moving, which is good to see. He's back out on track in P19. You remember Andre Lloyd from in Sandfort all the way back in Season 2. Had a pretty nasty crash there and got back on track and somehow finished the race. Don't know how he had the motivation personally, but here he is now being passed by Roy Swaleson. And let's have a look at these guys only just reaching their pit boxes now. It's going to be curious to see what they all do and who could come out on top here. But of course we won't focus on... Wow, I thought they were coming out of their pit boxes. It looks like they might only just be going in. Indeed they are. Well, that's my bad. Let's cut elsewhere for a little bit and we'll come back to them. Moxux here battling with John Gibson. This isn't for position in the slightest, but obviously these two a little bit feisty so far this weekend. John Gibson accusing Moxux of blocking him in quali. Oh no, you felt it might have been coming. John Gibson gonna drop back and let Moxux go by after all of that, but that was yeah, a little bit of drama amidst all the calm over Spa.
You went in too deep and hit the curb.
Yeah, it's tricky corner, the bus stop chicane. We do actually have our first movers in the pits. Here we go. Let's have a look. Peter Kramer is the first man out. Who's going to be first out of the two Americans? Behind. Oh, no, cameraman, don't get distracted. These are the ones we want to look for. Justin Moffat has got the jump in the pits. There you go. Justin Moffat fan club. That one's for you. Gets ahead in the pits. And Josh Buckwald's got a 30-second stop-go penalty. I wonder what that's for.
Probably speeding in the pit lane.
Potentially, but it came up just after he finished his pit stop. I wonder if he didn't... Do you think... Did he... I don't know. Yeah, probably speeding in the pit lane, isn't it? 'Cause that's a standard... Yeah, that's the standard penalty for that. I can't remember what people get. It's track limits people get drive-thrus for, yeah. Giorgio Zacchetti is in the pits as well. Leon Staplefeld will take the net lead of the race. Mohamed Irfan also coming in for his stop. It's assumed Leon Staplefeld will take the net lead of the race eventually. Yeah, he is in the lead. Justin Moffat, as you can see, up into P8 ahead of Josh Buckwalter. This looks like this position is more or less secure for him. The big danger, of course, is that just behind he's got Matas Sidekerskis to deal with. And look at Matas's pace, 2:20.3 last lap. That is pretty damn quick.
He can go quicker though. It's one thing I'm 100% sure of.
In true Matas fashion, he goes off track as soon as we cut to him as well. A little bit of off-roading there. He was born to be a rally driver, wasn't he? Really? I'll cut back to that battle in a second right now. We'll just have a look forwards because we do seem to have something going on here. For position, not quite because of the pit stops, but technically for position, Moxux and Peter Kramer's. It looks like Moxux not far behind, not sure to what extent this move could possibly happen, to be honest. But we do have a little pack of cars all ganged up together. Coming through Blanchard Mall now. I'm just trying to keep my eyes out for everything happening. I'm actually going to cut back and have a look at Matas here, because look at him right on the back of Josh Buckwalter. Obviously, this move not that necessary since Josh Buckwalter does have a 30-second stop-go penalty since that he will have to fill at some point. He does choose to brake very, very sharply there. Josh Buckwalter going a little bit wide and pulling into the pits once it's safe to do so. Going to serve that 30-second stop-go penalty. I have to say, what a disaster it's been for the ORC. Justin Moffat, the lone American hope, at the front now, and he's got one of the most entertaining drivers in the VGTR Challenge bearing down on him, and we're going to stick with these two for a little bit. One thinks we do actually have. In fact, I'm actually going to cut forward very briefly to show you the battle for the lead right now, because look at the gap. It is a little bit closer now, 4 seconds only. Mohamed Irfan has made up quite a bit of time on Giorgio Zacchetti, which I think maybe not indicative of their true pace that they close up that much. But do you think it gives perhaps a slight opportunity to Mohamed Irfan?
I would hope so, but I don't think so.
Fair.
George
Well,
Ducati is just way too quick.
he's putting in some good laps so far. We'll see what the gap is at the end of the first lap. He was pulling out pretty consistently. He's down to 4.4 already. One sector alone, albeit the strongest sector for Giorgio Zacchetti, is a 4/10 gap. And I feel like this might not be getting any closer, so let's go back to the action in the middle of the pack. Peter Kramer's a spun all by himself. And that's...
Not as a chance.
Absolutely. It's going to make this battle even more interesting, because now it's gone from a two-way battle to a three-way battle. Justin Moffat, Matas Sidakerskis, and Peter Kramer's now all in this battle for P6. Peter Kramer's, no doubt, will be very, very sad to have done it, but he's unintentionally given us a new lease of life on this race, really. And we'll, let's cut forwards, have a look. Right on board with Justin Moffat here. This is for you, the fan club. You can have a look at your man, and actually, no, I've got even a. Is he going to go for a move here? I doubt it. Not looking like he's close enough. Here's one for you. Oh my god, what is that rear wing? Oh boy, that is something quite special. This one also for the Justin Moffat fan club. Wait, I'll do it in a second. We're just going to watch as he goes down in towards the first hairpin. Going to try and move alongside. Peter Kramer's not leaving much room on the edge of the track, is the Dutchman, but nice fair racing, hard racing but clean. Justin Moffat going to have to stick behind for the time being. Justin Moffat fan club, this is for you. Alright, hope you got your fill there. And we're going to carry on. I told you I'd do fan service at some point. And we'll move on with the rest of the race. Justin Moffat. I always like using the free camera in some way. I think that's probably the most off-the-wall thing I've done with it so far this season. Justin Moffat is still stuck behind Peter Kramer for the time being, not really closing up that gap too much. He's going to be stuck for the time being. Peter Kramer's is sideways! Never mind, this could be an opportunity for Justin Moffat, who's going to ride on board him once again. Peter Kramer's just about holding it together in the end, but did get very, very sideways going through the column, and that's very, very nearly a disastrous couple of laps for Peter Kramer's, but he's been able to hold it together. The problem is he is stuck behind, I believe that's John Gibson in the number 720 McLaren, if I'm not mistaken. Oh, they're getting a little bit close, and I think there's that John Gibson going off the track there. He does recover it in the end, almost coming together with Matas, but all is well in the end.
Matas is having a nice view of this battle in front.
He absolutely
So if anything happens, he can pick up the scraps.
Why don't we share his view for a little bit? Hello, Matas. I know you love it when we cut to your car on stream. I know that you're listening. No pressure, by the way, but we are expecting you to get past both these guys and to do it in really entertaining fashion. So, you know, don't disappoint.
I hope he uses my lessons. I've been teaching him a bit about how to drive this car on this track. So yeah, let's hope he uses it.
And oh, we actually have another back marker who could cause some shenanigans here. That's Fabrizio Barbierato, one would believe, in the number something Porsche. I want to say it's number 43 Porsche. Am I right? There's Barbierato. 39. Damn it. Who's number 43 in this series? Anyway, he's going to move out the way. Let everybody pass. No dramas whatsoever. Do we have a battle with number 91 going on, or is that just is that not relevant? We don't even have a number 91. Oh, it's Mock, so it's number 911. He is battling with Josh Buckhalter, and Josh Buckhalter does get past going towards Lecom, but of course we're not interested in that right now because Justin Moffat trying to make some moves on Peter Kramer's, one of the veteran drivers, another driver who, Peter Kramer's right, he's been here since season 1, racing. I'm genuinely wondering who has the most races raced in the VGTR Challenge. It very well could be Peter Kramer's.
It's Milan.
Sorry?
Art Milan as well.
Yeah, it's probably one of those two, I would say. Present for all 3 seasons. I do need to start. I am going to do that. That's one thing I'm going to do. I'm going to compile a little spreadsheet with all the different stats on it to keep track. Peter Kramer's
It's getting really close to Justin Moffat, and he touches
Oh, it's a disaster! Justin Moffat's in the wall! Oh, and he's going to come back onto the track almost into John Gibson, but that is not what you want to see. And look, you can tell behind that helmet, there's tears of sadness. Look, you can see. Oh, it's just steely determination, never mind. unwavered by the crash. Justin Moffat going to carry on. He'll feel hard done by that, and quite rightly so. The battle we were hoping for so long between Matas and Justin Moffat comes to naught in the end. I don't know what the stewards will have to say about that later.
It's the smallest of dodges, but huge consequences.
Yeah, these cars are balanced on a knife edge, you would say, from time to time. And proving it there. Like you said, very, very tiny contacts. I didn't even see the contact, so there didn't seem to be any visible signs of an impact. But apart from the fact that apart from the fact that Justin Moffat ended up in a wall, that's quite a visible sign of an impact. But anyway, now he's stuck in the middle of a pretty tricky position. A number of drivers all around him, and two back markers in front. They want to have to get back past. He wants to catch back up to this battle, but with only 20 minutes left, you question to what extent that's even possible at this stage. Matas Sidikeskis for now going to be able to continue his crusade through the field. Peter Kramer's is next up. 1.4 seconds the gap currently stands at, and yeah, we'll see. We'll see what he can do from here. Probably got a little while before he catches up, so we'll have a little bit of a scroll through. We have a look at some of the other drivers. There is Justin Moffat after all that. Just ahead of a good little battle here between Bruno Schnell and Roy Swaleston. You see Bruno Schnell, again, harsh but fair with his defence there. And in the end, does get overtaken by Roy Swaleston. That is Roy unlapping himself there. We have a crash for Anthony Camacho, who's gone off the circuit. I'm not entirely sure how he's gone off there. I don't know what's going on. Had a few incidents coming out of Blanchard Mall now. I don't know if he hit the inside at all, but he's been able to get going. In
the inside curb.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It would lift. Yeah. That curb's a nightmare. Andre Lloyd, you can see just behind. You can see just how big the gaps are at the back of the field because of that earlier incident. Roy Swaleston, we just had a look at. He's already all the way at past Lecom, and now Andre Lloyd behind him, only just crossing the start-finish line. You hate to see it, really. These big gaps.
Getting really close to Peter.
He is. I think it's time to go back. Let's ride on board with him, shall we? Oh, not that close. There we go. Let's ride on board with Matas Sidikeskis. 2:21.2 last lap. The pace has been consistently good ever since his pit stop. Clearly, the tyre pressure issues have been resolved. A little bit sideways coming through there, but he's still on the tail of Peter Kramer's. It's still not a whole lot separating them, and you feel like there's a hell of a lot of opportunity here for Matas coming down into Lecom on the next lap. But will have to stick behind here. I doubt he'll be going for a move into the bus stop chicane, although I would like to see it. Don't take that as encouragement, though, Matas.
If he stays calm and composed, he can catch up to the back of Peter and pass him.
Yeah, I think it's a very, very much possible, overtake here. The thing is, Peter is not making it easy. Still, the gap not closing too much in the third sector. Peter will actually pull out 7/10 in that in between two splits there. 1.2 seconds the gap now stands at. Matas might actually be a little bit too far back to go for a move on this lap. He might have to wait another whole turn of Spa-Francorchamps before he can think about taking P6 for his own. Until then, we'll be sticking with him all the way. And Peter Verdi, Matas, let's go, says somebody in chat. Indeed, we will probably, hopefully, get that going in a little bit. They're going to come up across Leon Huang first and foremost. Leon Huang currently sat in P13, his best position of the year so far. Big round of applause to him. Keeping it clean and out of the walls. Getting a little bit close to our front runners there, but, didn't make any contact. Stayed out the way for the most part, so, not too much to fault there. Matas still struggling to catch up that last little bit of a gap towards Peter Kramer's. It's 1.1 seconds the gap stands at now, and a little bit more work to do, you feel, but he's going wide at the no-name corner. It's not going to help his case at all.
Yeah, he went into the marbles. If you're onto the marbles, your tires get dirty, you lose grip. So that's something you don't want to do.
Absolutely, Matas falling victim to them on this occasion. A very easy corner to go wide on, to be fair to him. That's probably my least favourite corner in the entire circuit. Oh, there's a few contenders though. I'm not a big Spa enjoyer like you. I'll be honest about it. Like some of the track, don't like that bit. Never like No Name Corner. Way too easy to drop the car on the exit of it. But Matas doing no such thing, recovering it, just going wide instead. Able to keep his fight with Peter Kramer's ongoing, but ongoing it will be for a while. It looks like 1.2 seconds still at the last timing split. It looks like he may have closed in just a tad in the third sector this time round, but still, it's going to be a hard ask to see him overtake at any time in the very, very immediate future. I imagine we're at least waiting one more lap, but it all depends, of course, on what kind of exit Peter Kramer's can get out of this corner. We'll see. It looks like a relatively clean one, and Matas also clean, but I think we might be waiting for now right on board just in case some kind of move does happen, but I don't think it's going to look particularly likely at this stage. The number 10 Ferrari too far away from the orange McLaren in front of him, and instead he's going to be forced to sit and watch as Peter Kramer continues to just drive ahead of him in the distance.
You could see the Ferrari bouncing on top of the hill on radio. The car is bouncy there, but if you take the risk, it can be really quick.
Got some porpoising going on.
Almost.
Have a look at Bruno Schnell, Fabrizio Barberato going at it. This is a battle for P14 right now. I believe this is indeed for position, which we love to see. And Fabrizio Barberato has actually gone a little bit wide there, it looks like, just coming back onto the track now. Fabrizio Barberato, one of the faster drivers last season in the AM split, finished runner-up in the end in the Nissan GTR. This time switched to the Porsche. Notoriously difficult to control is the Porsche. You remember Oliver Thompson complaining about it last season, which was a shame because he was bloody quick when he was actually not spinning. And a number of drivers have fallen at its hands before, but it seems like Fabrizio Barberato having a bit of a tricky season in the Porsche right now, tasked with catching Bruno Schnell. We do actually, where do we look now? It looks like number 77, Alex Kingston, Leon Staplefield are still quite a long way away. Instead it looks like we just got...
No.
Sorry?
He is gaining on Leon Staplefield.
Yeah, it's the question is, only 14 minutes left in the race. If Leon Staplefield makes a slight mistake, perhaps who knows what could happen. Looks like it is going to be a Georgia Zachetti and Mohamed Irfan 1-2 as it stands. Going to move forwards a little bit because you see Leon Huang here just going a little bit slowly as Martin Kuba goes by. And we'll cut back now to Matas and Peter because less than a second separated them at the last timing split. This also looks like less than a second. It indeed is 9/10. Peter consistently quicker in the third sector, which I assume is helping him maintain enough of a gap to retain his position into Le Con. But Matas a little bit closer this time. Still doesn't look like he's quite close enough, but if he gets good Eau Rouge and Radion, who knows what could happen at the end of the straight. You see clean Eau Rouge and Radion from both drivers, I was about to say, but Matas taking a little bit of runoff there on the inside of Radion. And instead he's going to once again be forced to sit back and watch. They're going to come through a timing split now. Only 0.08 of a second gain. Peter Kramer is putting on a very, very good show defensive driving here. Yeah, it's a little bit shaky for both drivers through the con. Peter going a little bit wide, Matas getting a little bit sideways, but it looks like Matas actually come out on top from that little exchange of mistakes. I think he's definitely closer than 0.83 of a second now.
Peter went wide, so he has a good run into Pool. I don't think he's going to send it though.
Yeah, that would be I'd be impressed if he did go for it. I would love to see it. But again, he definitely shouldn't take that as encouragement because it would be a horrible idea and probably ruin both of their races. But as it stands, Matas just going to stick behind. I was going to say, getting so close to the back of Peter Kramer's there. I'm going to ride on board because I felt we're going to see a lot of the back of this McLaren as they go through the third sector. Matas will need a perfect exit from the final corner before the straight. if he wants to have a chance of sticking with the McLaren that's been so much faster in Sector 3 so far. 0.6 is the gap, and Peter Kramer's gone wide on the exit.
Both pushing really hard.
Yeah, this is intense now. If only Justin Moffat was here as well. I miss him. Wonder what he's up to these days. Down in P8. Matas Sidikescu, as it stands, has been able to keep up a lot better with Peter Kramer's this time around. A little bit of slipstream perhaps helping him out. Going to be hard on the brakes going to the bus stop chicane, and Peter's gone wide. This could be huge. Matas Sidikescu has a good line coming out the final corner. He might have a chance to get past Peter Kramer's very, very early, but will he want to go for the move into the first hairpin? Of course, the danger is if he gets ahead, Peter Kramer's could come right back at him into Le Com. Matas is going to go for it because, of course, he's going to go for it. He's going to be up the inside. Peter Kramer's forced to the outside, but look at this. Matas being very, very smart about this, forcing Peter Kramer to take a bad line. He's now got a good exit speed here, and he will be in the perfect position, provided he isn't too close during Eau Rouge and Radion, which we're going to watch them go up now. Look at these. Look at that. That's a sight to behold. Matas once again taking a lot of off track there, but he's going to be right behind the McLaren now. They're going to pull out alongside each other. Matas to the outside. Peter Kramer's trying to defend. They're both going to be hard on the brakes. I think Peter Kramer's can probably keep this corner if he keeps in it, but Matas has gone faster into it around the outside. Peter Kramer's getting sideways, but Matas going slowly on the curbs. They're still side by side. Peter Kramer's finally has to yield the position. Matas Sidikescu moves up into P6. Peter Kramer's has been relegated to P7 for the time being. And we have a... Oh no! Justin Moffat! What's happened? Justin Moffat's had some kind of incident. He's retired from the race. He's in the pits. That's a disaster. Justin Moffat from P8, it looks like, has done. Oh, this is a nightmare. Nightmare for Justin Moffat. You hate to see it. The man who so many fans brought out into the chat today. Instantly one of my favourite drivers in the series, just for the fact he brought people along to listen to me drone on about it.
Trying to overtake a back marker.
Yeah, it's so unlucky for Justin Moffat. Well, it was a good show during the race before then. Definitely looked like, if it wasn't for a little bit of bad luck, could have been a real contender in this race. But as it stands, it's going to be, that's all we're going to see for now. See a few drivers here at the back of the grid. None really, still racing for position here. Bruno Schnell and Leon Huang now. Let's follow this battle for a bit. We could see it overtake pretty soon. Bruno Schnell not looking too shabby today in the number 88 Lamborghini, going a little bit wide out the final corner onto the back straight. It's going to be able to pull alongside Leon Huang into Blanchard Mall. Are they going to go through side by side? Leon Huang making a little bit of contact wheel to wheel with Bruno Schnell there. Very, very close, and Leon Huang actually having to drop back a little bit. No, he's still on the back of the Lamborghini. Is he going to go for the move back? He is going to dive to the inside. Leon Huang goes way too fast into the corner, but I respect the attempt at the move. Yeah, you know, you got to fight for those kind of positions, even when you're so far down. And Fabrizio Barbarato now could be next up to try and take the number 14 position away from the number 72 BMW, as I try and stifle a yawn as I'm mid-cast. That is, yeah, it's Justin Moffat in chat. There goes my race. Back markers are bad today. I'm going to go back out and see what we can salvage. We love to see Justin Moffat coming back out on track. If he's come back on track eventually, that would be lovely to see. Still good points on offer. No points are bad points at the end of the day. So, you know, it's all practice for the final race of the season, where no doubt we'll see Justin Moffat challenging at the very, very front, hopefully. But for now, we'll just be focusing elsewhere. We've got Matas Sidikescu and Peter Kramer are still separated by just under a second, but I don't think there's too much happening in that battle right now.
Matas needs to watch out for track limits. He went wide at no-in corner again. So, yeah, he needs to be careful.
I wonder how many limits how many violations you're allowed to do before you get a drive-through.
Your fourth one is a penalty, but if he slows down, he doesn't get a warning. So yeah.
Ah, okay. So I wonder how close he is right now, because that would be a pretty sad way for the race to finish for Matas Sidikescu right now. Watching Fabrizio Barbarato just trying to hang on to the back of Leon Huang, ready to make this move whenever he can. And just looking all over, you see Matas and Peter separating themselves from each other a little bit down the back straight to come across the back of Moxtux. Currently sat in P11. I think it would be Moxtux's best result of the season, which is very, very good going. But right now we're just waiting for this move to come through. Fabrizio Barberato, just like Bruno Schnell did, also going very, very wide. We're going to see this move come through shortly, you would imagine. Interesting to see a full wheel on the Porsche, more or less. I've never driven the Porsche
he's
before.
driving the older model.
Oh, is he? Oh. How bizarre. Anyway. Fabrizio Barberato for now in his very, very old Porsche. Not able to get past. I'm very curious about the array of decorations on his bonnet. I do like them, not gonna lie. I was just looking at his the fins in his grille and the cooling at the front. You know, making red and green like the Italian flag. Very very stylish. I don't know, a bit of a fashionista when it comes to a Assetto Corsa liveries. Fabrizio Barberato this time, we're hoping that as well as good as his car looks, we're hoping it's pretty damn quick as well. Stuck behind Leon Huang, still not quite able to get past into the bus stop chicane now. Doesn't look like he's going to be able to get past into Lecombe either. I think we're going to leave this fight behind for a little bit, move elsewhere. Look at Moxux going very, very wide, getting very, very sideways. And behind him, hey, look who it is. Our favourite driver, Justin Moffat, in P16 now. Still some good points on offer. Got a tricky... got a pretty tricky hand dealt to him in this race, but still going on. Still plugging away in P16. Very weird distribution of the drivers today. A lot of drivers at the back. He is... who you don't really expect to be further on. Martin Kuba just behind, proving that point eloquently. And just here, look at this battle hotting up. Peter Kramer's and Matas Sitterkesk still going at it. Peter Kramer's now right on the back of Matas, who had a pretty dodgy exit out of the second sector. And now there could be the opportunity for something to happen into the bus stop chicane if Matas isn't paying attention. He has to be careful here. Peter Kramer's will be hoping that he can force a mistake, force something to go wrong for Matas. But it's not going to happen for now. Matas very, very strong under the pressure there. Peter Kramer is forced to stay behind for the time being, but that gap is not widening anytime soon. We've only got 4 minutes of this race left. We're very, very much in the closing stages. And Peter Kramer's hoping to reclaim his P6. As we move into the final stage of this race, look at Peter Kramer's diving to the inside of Matas Sitterkerskas as Alex Kingston sets the fastest lap of the race.
It looked like Matas wants to let Peter pass so he could get the slipstream.
This is yeah. Oh man, this is awkward. This is like qualifying in Monza. This is we're getting a very, very awkward little battle here between Peter and Matas. But it looks like Matas, for all of the shenanigans he tried to pull there, looks like it was unnecessary because Peter not quite getting enough slipstream to really pose much of a threat to the Ferrari down the long straight there. And through Lecombe, Peter Kramer is forced to sit back and just watch on as Matas continues to occupy P6. But this battle not going away anytime soon. One would imagine that both of these men will be wanting to finish ahead of the other after a prolonged battle earlier, you would say. It went on for quite a while. Always nice to come from top of your adversaries. 6 seconds now, I can tell you the gap, 6.5 or so, the gap between Mohamed Irfan and Giorgio Zacchetti. It looks like the battle for the lead is just about sewed up as we're going into the final couple of laps here.
Alex Kingston was hoping for another like 10 minutes because he's closing in on Leon Stablefield with around like 2 seconds a lap. So yeah.
Yeah, it's unfortunate for Alex Kingston, really. You wonder with his pace now, fastest lap of the race gone, you wonder what he could have done against Giorgio Zacchetti. He looked like he was gearing up for, just to hold on to the back and to have a good battle for the race win in the second half of this race. But as it stands, he is out of the race, really, for the lead, really. Stuck in P4, not really going to move anywhere. And it looks like most of the positions in the top 10 are indeed decided. This is really the main battle, the main intrigue going on right now between Peter Kramer and Matas. Of course, Peter Kramer's opening the door really for Matas and Justin Moffat with his little incident down in Sector 2. But defended well for a long time before finally having to let Matas by. They'll be going to what will be their final lap. They would, their penultimate lap, one would imagine now. And it doesn't look like Peter's really close enough to provide any sort of threat to the number 10 Ferrari.
Yeah, he's just too far back to get the slipstream.
It looks like this battle may be coming to an end. We'll have a look. Just behind we have Justin Moffat and Martin Kuba. Not for position in any way whatsoever, but hey, at least they're close by each other. Two Audis going up against each other. But nothing happening here, but Justin Moffat going a little bit wide and Martin Kuba able to take the position nice and easy, unlapping himself. Take the track position, of course. He's only unlapping himself in reality, but Justin Moffat, nothing he could really do about it in the end. He's going to be forced to watch as away goes Martin Kuba. This battle between Leon Huang and Fabrizio Barberato is still going on, but there may have been 23 other drivers starting this race, but from start to finish, there's only really one man who looked like he was going to win it. Difficult start, you would say. Got away cleanly, but was under a lot of pressure from Alex Kingston. Dealt with it well. And when Alex Kingston spun out, it's been a pretty safe race, you'd say, for Giorgio Zacchetti. The closest thing he had to competition was his post-pit stop gap to Mohammed Irfan, dropping to about 4 seconds. But the setup's been on point, and it looks like the car choice has been absolutely very, very good for Giorgio Zacchetti so far this season. It's really worked out for him, this Bentley. The Audi was good for him last season, of course. He was very, very quick in that, but the Bentley seems to be working out very, very nicely indeed. And it's going to be his first win in Season 3, his first win since Monza Season 2, which means I think it's his second win overall in the VGTR Challenge.
Yeah, just an overall good drive from him.
Congratulations on... Oh, sorry.
Yeah, Giorgio Zacchetti did nothing wrong this entire race. He's just been extending his lead. So, good job.
And well rewarded for it. Of course, congratulations to you for your prediction victory today. Somehow, no matter what game I'm casting or whatever's going on, I always lose my predictions to my co-casters. So, good to keep that record intact. For now, it looks like it's going to be a 1-2 for the predictions at least. Obviously, your commentators know best. You can always trust us for all the insights. But the only insight we need to look into today's race is just how well Giorgio Zacchetti has driven. Coming around the final few corners now through Blanchard Mall for the final time. Very, very high speed. It's and into the bus stop chicane for one last time. It's been a pretty dominant win from start to finish. Michelin-esque, you would say. But Giorgio Zacchetti's going to come across the line. He's going to take the victory. It's his first win of the season, his second in the VGTR Challenge. Flashing his lights in celebration. And how about that for Giorgio Zacchetti? A great result from him today. Behind him, Mohammed Irfan comes across the line in P2. Andre Lloyd in P19. A horrible race for him through very, very little fault of his own. Absolutely no fault of his own, I'd probably say. But he finished it. You got to respect the man who has a race like that and still opts to see it out to the end. Leon Stablefield here coming across the line to take P3. Behind him, Alex Kingston. Look how close Alex Kingston got in the end for P4.
Yeah, Kingston needed a few more laps in order to catch Leon Stablefield.
Yeah, very, very unfortunate for him.
He was gaining really quickly.
Very impressive drive, you have to say, from Alex Kingston after his spin. After he got the throw back under control, it's just been completely flawless from start to finish. Ultimately, then coming through for P5, Josh Buckwalter secures a top 10 after all was said and done for the ORC after a pretty horrible day for them, it has to be said. P9 is the best they're going to manage. Felix Payant is the last of them to cross the line in P15. Here comes Matas and Peter, who gave us some entertainment at the end there. Matas will finish P6, Peter P7, Christopher Qualls in P10, his best result of the season, I believe. Martin Cooper dead last today, again through very little fault of his own. Justin Moffat, again through little fault of his own in P16. Moxtux with his best result, P11, is a very, very good haul of points for him today. He'll have a smile on his face at the end of this race, I reckon. Most importantly, Moxtux has managed to finish a race without his internet cutting out. So that's a huge dub for everybody. Royce Waleson, he can come across line P17 behind him on track, Bruno Schnell in P12 and John Gibson in P18. And here's this battle. I can tell you that Fabrizio Barbiato finally did get past Leon Huang. They're going to be two of the final cars to cross the line. Fabrizio Barbiato in P13, Leon Huang in P14, which means the only driver left is Jeffrey Theriot, who's going to come across the line in P8. That is, ignore your sidebar. It is incorrect because Mohamed Irfan has already left the server. But he's going to cross the line in what will be P8 in the standings for today. And there it is. Everybody has crossed the line. Race number 5 of the season has finished. It's, I think it was quite a good one all in all. Who's your driver of the day, would you say?
I would say Alex Kingston.
I probably...
He made an error, but such a good recovery. Showing what the Ferrari can do around Spa. Multiple Ferraris in the top 6. So yeah, overall good race.
I think I agree with you. I'll probably go for... I think Alex Kingston's a contender. I think Josh Buckwalter, given that he needed a recovery drive, is a decent contender as well. I think Matas would have been a contender if he had, if he could have stuck with the front a little bit more, or gotten past where we had a cleaner battle with Justin Moffat. I think both Christopher Qualls and Moxtux deserve a big round of applause for their performance, and Bruno Schnell for that matter. All very, very strong performances. They had a little bit of a battle going on. A little bit of fortunate circumstances going on for them, which helped them out. But they took full advantage and drove a very, very clean race to victory. For now, though, it is time for us to cut away back to my ugly mug. Am I in shot? No, I've put my monitor back in the wrong place. I changed the orientation of my monitor. I raise it up and put it higher so I can stand up when I'm casting, so I don't run out of breath, which is pretty handy. Also very, very annoying when I need to readjust it. Can never remember where I put it last time. Anyway, I'd like to thank you all very much for coming down. First of all, major thanks to my lovely co-caster today, Mr. Tom Bartelds.
Yeah, it was fun joining you.
Running all the wonderful analysis as ever. I've got to start the stream end music, which I've lost my playlist for on YouTube. Where is it? Is it going to be deafening? Oh yeah, it is deafening. Alright, let's turn this down a little bit. Oh, there we go. And thank you all very, very much for joining me. It's been a pleasure to see you all. This is the penultimate race of Season 3 of the VGTR Challenge. Next week, same time, same place, same day, same me, same everything. We'll be at Laguna Seca for the final race of the season. We'll have our decider for the... Well, I'm not sure if it will really be for the championship, given how far away Tommy Lydon is, but definitely for P2 in the championship. A number of battles to be settled, a number of grudges to be resolved. And I hope you all join us for that. It is also my final race as VGTR Challenge commentator. I'll be stepping down at the end of Season 3. It's been an honour to bring these races to you for the last 2 VGTR Challenge seasons. I hope that I'll be back in future, but at least over summer I will be stepping away for a little bit. Somebody else will fill my place, no doubt, and do just as good a job. Maybe they'll even put the stream title in correctly, you know. Maybe they'll actually be vaguely competent, which is something I've been lacking in. But we'll see you all next week. I hope you have a wonderful week. And until Laguna Seca, it's goodbye from me.
Yeah.